one of my first jobs was at Pips, and I was going to be the opening act and MC of a show where, and to me, these were big stars.
Yeah.
This was like being with Bob Hope and Jack Benny.
Lenny Schultz.
Yeah, no, I wish. It was Carl Waxman.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And Adam Keefe.
I don't know Adam Keefe.
He was most famous he was an impressionist. And the highest he ever got was in some, I don't know, potato chip commercial where he was doing a James Cagney imitation.
Both of those names are new on me.
So what year were you working? What years was that?
Yeah, oh, God. I think it was like it was maybe still 69 when I first got up on the stage.
And when did people think you were funny?
Never.
Last week.
But boy, I remember Catch. I passed the audition there, or when they opened the place.
Yeah.
And they had the stage on the other side of the room.
Yeah.
And I remember going to the Improv every night when Times Square was a fucking shit house.
Oh, it was terrifying back then.
Oh, sure.
I remember people chasing me down at 8th Avenue. Like, it was really a terrifying place.
Yeah, I mean, I would walk from there to 6th and 42nd to get on their lovely subway back then.
So were you there when Pryor was working out a lot in those days?
No, I not Pryor. I remember...
Robert Klein, was he still in the clubs or already out of the clubs?
Like maybe pop in.
Yeah.
But the people who I'd see pop into rarely, but I remember Gabe Kaplan before he was famous.
Was he funny? Like, honestly, because I've never seen his act. But yet he was gigantic. So was he a killer in the clubs?
Well,
and that's
I
what
remember
happened?
he would go up on stage and he'd talk about being in school. And there was a guy named Horseshack.
Yeah, that all came out of his act.
Yeah.
The Sweat Hog stuff.
And that, boy, that
it all worked out
for him.
Yeah.
Horseshack did not like being called Horseshack.
Yes.
Because I did a sketch with him on a Tom Arnold special, and it was a sensitive area. He didn't... there are certain people, they own that stuff, and they just have fun with it, and other people really... do not dig you calling them Horseshack, and he was of that school.
I heard Jimmy Walker gets really angry if you ask him to say dynamite.
Because now it's been like 40 years, and you got to be like, I cannot believe I'm still being asked to do it. Yeah. I think about that sometimes. Like, we did the Ben Stiller show in 1992, and people don't really ask about it. Right. But if they asked about it every day, I could see how you'd get irritated at some point.
So take us back, since we're talking about stand-up, and we were talking about your mom being a hostess at East Side, and now you transition from dishwasher to busboy.
Yes.
How do you get on stage for the first time?
Well, after doing all the interviews right as senior year of high school ended, I started trying to do the open mic nights. And I would go on at Governor's, and John Mulrooney would host.
I remember John.
And his whole thing was very violent crowd work. I mean, he would really rile them up and attack them. So he would get the crowd to feel like they could insult him, and then he would just decimate them, which was the worst environment to then go on next.
Oh, yes.
It was a terrible environment, but ultimately okay. And so I did that, and then I got accepted to go to USC Film School, and I started booking shows around LA as a way to get stage time. And Sammy Shore opened a club in Marina Del Rey, Sammy's by the Shore, which is in the back of this Casola's Fish House, Father of Paulie. And he asked me to book the shows there. And so it was like on the weekends or Thursday through Sunday, and I would just host every show. And that's how I got stage time. It was from Sammy, who was really good to me. I remember opening night, Orson Bean came in.
Oh, wow.
And was hysterical. Yeah. And everyone would go into that club. And it was just the back of a fish house, but kind of set up decently. And then I got a job at Comic Relief when it first started. So I had heard, they're going to do the Live Aid for comedians, and I was in college, and I called him up, and I said, I will do anything.
You called Smuda?
I called just anybody who would answer the phone. And then 4 months later, they called me and said, yes, we need help. And so I was there at the first 4 or 5 comic reliefs